So I really wanted to hop on a call with you guys because I've been getting a lot of feedback, excuses, limiting beliefs. I don't really know what you want to call them. But over the past little while, I've been hearing a lot of stuff. A lot of really, I guess I can say excuses with regards to so many different things that are happening. And I do get that life gets in the way sometimes, but there is a lot of stuff that I've been hearing from people on our team consistently. And so there's two topics I really wanted to talk about tonight. The first one being duplication. And I listened to an incredible podcast today about this and about discipline. So I just sort of wanted to touch on these two topics with you guys. I have no slides. I have nothing. If you guys have questions, hop on with questions, unmute yourself, keep this really, really active. But I did want to sort of, the reason I didn't do calls, and I can be completely honest with you guys, is because no one was showing up. This is a prime example. We have 60 people on our team and we have 5 people here. And there's life, and trust me, there's a lot of stuff I could have been doing tonight, like sitting on the couch with Aaron and watching hockey and having a drink. And there's a lot of stuff that I could have been doing, but I also know that our team needs this. Our team needs the sense of community. So, I just really want to recognize you guys for being here. I know there's a lot of stuff that gets in the way. But there's the two topics I want to talk about. The first one being discipline. And it's really funny because Geraldine the other day, I'm not sure if you're in her Financially Free Moms group, but Geraldine has this group that she shares free education in. And one of the topics that she talked about this week, let me just turn off my internet on my iPad. One of the topics she talked about this week was the sense of discipline. And it was really funny because I had been lacking in a lot of areas of my business that she brought up in this discipline video that she did. So I'm just going off of notes here just so I remember, because I will go totally off topic. But one of the things that she talked about within discipline was, are you filling your time with income producing activities, or are you filling your time with what she calls, or what I like to call, fluff? Are you filling it with stuff that's useless, that's not propelling your business forward? So for instance, prime example of myself, we're doing home renovations. And so I've actually been spending my time on home renos, which I guess I get that it has to be done. But this is also my business. This is my job. So I was putting off work to do home renovations, like to paint a room or to clean the house or to do stuff that really didn't need to be done that moment. It could have waited. Putting that kind of stuff off, or organizing my oils, or organizing my bookshelf, or cleaning out my desk, instead of actually sitting down at my computer and doing work, income producing work, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Those days where you're like, you'll do everything but the stuff that has to be done all the time, right? It happens. So one of the things that I really wanted to ask you guys is, are you filling your time with this fluff? Are you filling your time with work and purposeful work? Or are you filling your time with fluff or purposeful work, right? And a big thing that she brought up, and a big thing that I'm a firm believer in, is that leaders get shit done. Leaders are the ones that will sit down with a to-do list of 500 things and get every single item marked off. So that's one thing that's huge for me. Another thing is, what is your business calling you to do? So this was a really big thing that Geraldine brought up in the group. And actually I saw Jen had actually posted on it with some action steps that you're going to be working on. But I wanted to sort of bring up in this call, and I do want you guys to actually, we have 6 of you on here, so it's kind of nice. We can unmute ourselves and talk. But what is your business calling you to do right now? You guys know what I'm talking about? What are you being pulled towards? Yeah, Jen, Do you know
Yeah, I'll go. I'm a talker. I think my biggest problem is the confidence. So I really feel, and the self-esteem, like, so obviously they go together. So I feel like I don't ask friends to help me by hosting a class or reach out to people in the class hosting capacity because I'm not confident enough to do it. So like I love the product and I think I exude that. I talk about them, I share them with people, but I definitely see I am where I am because of the effort I've put into it. So I think you need confidence, and I see you ladies in our upline, and you guys exude confidence. I'm like, and you just know your stuff, and I lack that. I feel like I lack that, and so that's what I think my business is calling me to do, is because I need that not just in business, I need that in my personal life too.
Totally. And that's actually, it's so funny you brought this up. Because it's actually something that, are you coming to our end of year party?
Yep.
So that's actually a topic that Andrea and I are presenting on, is the idea behind confidence. And the thing that came up today was really us saying, like, my life is not perfect. I have lots of fears. I have a lot of limiting beliefs. I am confident to some extent, but I lack a lot of confidence in some areas of my life. And I think that's something that you're never going to be perfect in. And I think a real big thing that Andrea and I really want to share with you guys during this presentation, just on the topic of that, is that we aren't perfect. We really do have the same fears that every single one of you have. It's just a matter of, if you want to be a leader and you want to be successful, you have to bust through that. And it's every morning when I wake up and every day that I do work, it's like, oh my God, like I'm scared sometimes, right? Like you're always going to have that fear, but you're never going to be successful unless you fight through it and you push through it. Anyone else? I know Trish, you just launched a website. What's your business calling you to do? What are you being pulled towards? Any of you?
I think I'm in the same position as Jen is. You've asked so many people and you keep hearing no and no and no, and it starts getting really frustrating after a while. And I think that's why I had to push to get the website up, because I just felt that maybe I get really nervous when I'm talking to people. And I think I've talked about this before, is I almost feel like I start sounding desperate when I'm trying to do a presentation, opposed to stepping back and going and showing the love for the oils. So anyways, I've got the website going, and maybe I can communicate better with people on there and start sharing it. People that might be interested. I have so many people that keep saying they're interested in oils, but they never want to take that jump to do the class or do a one-on-one with me. So I'm hoping maybe if they see the website, like I can direct them to it. If anybody has suggestions, that's kind of where I'm feeling I'm at, is maybe trying a different way of things, maybe with the website, and express that way, as opposed to blasting my Facebook with this is why I use peppermint, this is why I use lavender, this, do you know what I mean? I don't feel comfortable.
The thing is that you're only going to be sound desperate if you are desperate. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're coming from an energetic place of you're desperate, like this has to work now, or like, no, I can't do anything, or like from that sort of area or that energy, then people are going to feel that. But I share practically daily how I use my oils, and not once have I ever felt that I'm bugging people or I'm desperate. For me, that's just my way of sharing passionately something that works for me. So it all depends how you share, first of all. So are you sharing, taking from doTERRA and just sharing that and saying, oh yeah, whatever, I don't have anything to post today, I'm just going to throw this up? Or are you actually saying, like for me, I've been using Deep Blue like it's going out of style because I physically cannot sit. Like hence the reason I'm on a kitchen chair right now and my chair is in the background because I'm waiting on, I'm going to order an ergonomic chair. So I've been using, it's silly, totally off topic. But like for me, I've been using Deep Blue. So I've been sharing constantly how I'm using Deep Blue because that's actually what I'm using right now. Or when times are tough and my digestion's acting up. Okay, well, I'm using DigestZen. Like it can't be forced, right? Because then people are going to feel that desperation. But I think for you, it's just honestly just sharing with people. Because I can tell you, I don't ever see anything come off of your feed, ever. No posts, no nothing, right? So if that's something you want to create as a presence online, if that's what your business is calling you to do through your website and through sharing, then you need to share like 20 times a day. Like you need to share with people, right?
I think I get held back too because I'm afraid of I might say something wrong. Like we can't technically say online that peppermint gets rid of my headache. Peppermint, do you know what I mean? And I think I'm always scared that I'm going to say something wrong.
There's the claims guide out. I do that. I have the US one and the Canadian one, and when I'm not sure of how to word something, I just go look at what the claims thing says and then use that. And I think
we don't have anything restricting us right now. You can say whatever you want as long as you say that you don't say something cures something. You use something as a treatment. We are free. We are actually free of this burden we had over top of us. We can say whatever we want as long as you're not saying curing.
Okay.
Or treats disease. Like you can't say that, but
helps with my headache.
Yeah, peppermint helps with my headache. Like it helps get rid of my head tension. Like
I'm using peppermint daily almost, especially at work. And same with the frankincense, helichrysum, and lavender blend I made, and I love it. I put it on every day, and it's definitely helping. The other thing that I'm doing, which is really, really cool, I'm going over to Juniper, hopefully tonight, depending on when the meeting finishes here. Andrea and I are doing the cooking with essential oils class. I think I talked to you a while about it. We were going to plan it for late fall, so we're going to do it because
awesome.
Because that's one thing I do is I do cook a lot with my oils, and I don't think I express online how much I do that either.
No, I've never known that.
I've never seen.
Well, I see. You know what? I see more of your What do you call those things you drive? I see more of that. Then any oil thing. Actually, I don't think I see you ever post about it. And I just wanted to share like the whole. You don't want to like this is how I use this is how I use that. I have a friend who used to. I don't know if she still does it because she's not puking it up. You know that It Works wrap stuff. Like her posts, like it made you literally feel yucky. So if your post doesn't make you feel yucky, you're probably fine because you know when you see somebody who's just like pushing their thing. It feels yucky. Like I'd see hers and it almost got to the point where I wanted to block her. And I know some of my other friends did actually stop following her because she literally long messages and just barf, barf, barf. I think you know the difference. I think it's obvious.
I like to keep things short and sweet. There
you go.
So yeah. Okay. All right. But yeah, the cooking class I'm really excited about.
I see.
We've got a whole menu planned out. We're going to do a soup, make a cracker or a bread, which seems kind of cool. And then we're going to have hot chocolate, like gourmet hot chocolate, and let them kind of put whatever oil they want to try in there. We're going to do some really funky oils. And so it's kind of more like a latte hot chocolate. And then we're going to do gingerbread cookies, and they can decorate their gingerbread cookies.
Gingerbread cookies.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. And it's all, like, Andrea is an amazing, phenomenal cook. Right, Brittany?
Mm-hmm. Really good.
She's actually competing at the Royal Fair tomorrow because she moved on from her division. So she's competing at the Royal Fair tomorrow.
Oh.
She's an amazing chef. So I was even going to open it up to our team, too, if they want to use, like, do that, come out and Yeah.
Totally. Well, we'll chat more about that after.
Yeah.
So Stacey, we're just jamming on really what our business is asking us to do, what we're being called to do really for our business. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas, but for me, my thing is I've actually been asked quite a bit lately to speak and to do personal coaching and to do things like that. And I get asked on a daily basis questions about oils from people who are on our team, who aren't on our team, who I've enrolled, who you guys have enrolled. So for me, I've been called to start like a question and answer, to do a Q&A. So I'm starting that on Thursdays. And this is where fear comes up, guys. Like, I'm terrified. Like, I'm terrified that I'm going to have no one show up. But a big thing that I know happens is that 8 months ago when Ange Peters as a Blue Diamond started Q&A, she had no followers. Actually, as a presidential diamond, she started it. No followers. No one followed her Q&A. Took her months, she said, to get a following. But she kept at it. She kept at it. And she built this 10,000 every Wednesday Q&A. 10,000 people watching. So that's a big thing for me, is that I'm freaking out about it. But it's something that I've been called to do because I don't have time to sit and answer every single person's questions, or to do personal coaching and mentoring with people who aren't on my team. So that's what I've been called to do. And I don't know if you guys have, like Kirsten, I don't know if you have any ideas or things that have been really coming up for you, or Stacey, but I'm going to open this, since there's a few people on here, we're going to open it up to sharing. Anyone want to share?
I'll share. It's Christine.
Hey.
Hi. So I think right now for me, it's really getting myself organized. Last month was my first month of doing any like classes on my own, which was nerve-wracking, but ended up turning out pretty well. The only thing that I felt like I could really improve was kind of my flow. But after I was finished sort of teaching the classes, I got really good feedback from people. They said that they learned a lot, and some of them had said they'd been to oils classes before and that they learned a lot more from mine, which was really flattering and really exciting because I love to share my knowledge with people. So at this point, I'm just kind of trying to make sure that I'm seeking out people who are interested in booking classes, getting them booked early in the month or even for next month type of thing to keep my schedule going, because I think after even just 2 little classes, it kind of gave me that little boost of like, wow, I can earn some money off of this. Wow, I can pay for my own oils. This is kind of cool. And that was kind of my goal. And why I sort of started out doing this, not only because I wanted to share them, but because, you know, it's nice to have that little bit of extra money. So I think for me, it's just really staying on top of my schedule, making sure I'm following up. I use Google Calendar.
Me too.
I started adding little notes. Like follow up with Britt today, or schedule this class, or, you know, whatever it is, email this person this information about this oil, just so I'm kind of on top of it. And I haven't even scratched the surface of people that I can contact. I think I have ideas about, you know, getting into my orthodontist office, and my aunt owns a hair salon and stuff like that. So I think this month for me is kind of going to be planning, making that list of people that I do want to reach out to, and kind of figuring out how I'm going to do that.
Totally.
Because obviously we talk about authenticity, and I'm an authentic person, but I do get concerned with stuff. You know, I'm on Facebook and I see other people selling things, and it really comes across as a sales pitch to me, and I don't want that to be how I run my business.
Totally.
Anytime someone's approached me and they're like, oh, you're selling oils now, I say, no, I'm sharing them. I can be a liaison for you to purchase them, but I don't sell it. They sell themselves. I'm just sharing them.
Yeah, and that's when I say I share oils.
Yeah.
I don't sell anything. I share with people what works for me. And if you like that and you want to try it, great. If not, awesome. Let's go on. Like, it's one of those things that in my past network marketing company, I had to pull teeth. Like, it was a sales pitch. Like, literally, like, this is why you need to buy my products. Whereas with doTERRA, it's you tell somebody what worked for you in a certain situation, and that's it. They're like, okay, sign me up.
Yeah. The only thing
many of you have noticed, like in classes, you tell people like about kits, and it's like, okay, awesome. Where do I sign?
Yeah. The only thing I struggle with is like, so many people are like, okay, well, if I host, what do I get?
Yeah.
Because they're so used to other models of, oh, you host, you get, if lots of people buy stuff, you get all this free stuff. But that's not really what this is about. This is about education. This is about improving your health. It's not just about the next pretty thing or the next fad or stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm struggling. Like, I have someone in my life who is very materialistic and very much so about stuff. And I know that she already diffuses stuff from Sage. And I think that there's so many doTERRA products that would be so amazing for her. So we've talked about it. And I've asked her to host a class. And she said maybe, which, okay, that's not a no. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's kind of said, oh, well, what do I get? And I said, well, I will gift you an oil for doing it. And she said, well, I just want this one. And I was like, okay, well, we can talk about that during your class. Oh, for sure. It's really bad. And I said, we can talk about it during your class. I think that this kit would be amazing for you. Like I suggested, she really wants Smart and Sassy. So I suggested the one kit with the smaller bottles with the Smart and Sassy because it made so much sense, right? It's not as expensive. And she just was kind of like, no, I only want this. And I was like, okay, well, how about you listen to the class and we'll go from there.
Yeah, you know what? You're going to have people of all walks of life and all interesting types of people. And I think really the point is to just keep doing what we're doing because we're doing everything right. But yeah, it's interesting to sort of think of it in a perspective of like, what are you really being asked to do? Like, that's clearly challenging you in a way. And I'd even sit with it and see like, what's this challenging me to do? This girl's clearly got something. I think
it's all about stuff, right? Like, it's all about free this, free that.
It's so funny because like, I've never, ever been asked what I give hosts. Like, I've hosted classes for people I don't even know, and they don't even ask for anything.
Well, see,
I just actually hosted a class for a random girl last week, and I forgot to give, like, this is so stupid. I forgot to give her gift, and she would never even said anything to me about it.
I actually had somebody last week who I kind of bent over backwards for them and ordered on my account. Well, her account, but I paid with my credit card. She didn't have a credit card.
Yeah.
So she gave me cash. And so when I went and dropped it off, she was like, we were having a little chit chat and going through her oils, whatever. And she said, so what did so-and-so get for hosting? And I said, oh, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, doesn't she get like a percentage back? Like, doesn't she benefit from me buying stuff? And I said, oh, it doesn't really work that way. I did gift her an oil, but that's not how this company works, basically. Like, that's not how it's laid out. And she's like, oh, well, that's a real bummer. Almost as if she would have hosted it if she would get stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. I don't even know what to say.
I think it's just a matter of sort of, we're all going to deal with different things, and it's just a matter of how you handle it. But I am gonna, okay, so I'm just gonna keep on topic, okay, for the matter of this. So in terms of discipline, I think really the biggest thing I wanted to hop on tonight and say, there's actually a post I had posted in the in our group a little while ago, and it was something that Geraldine had posted, and it was, for me, discipline is, if you're not disciplined, that's where the excuses come up. So I have people calling me all the time, leaders on our team, people I mentor, saying, okay, well, I want this to happen, but like this didn't happen. And it's like, okay, well, you're not going to hit the next rank if you're not hosting classes, if you're not mentoring your team, if you're not talking to people, if you're not have an online presence, if you're not busting through fear every day, if you're not willing to travel to teach a class. Like, these things aren't going to happen. I want to pull it up actually, because it was, if you haven't seen it, it's awesome. Just the examples that she gave were great. Give me one sec. My internet's slow, so I'm just doing it on my phone. So it was a post I put. It says, you want to hit the next rank, but you're not willing to give out samples. You're not willing to take your leadership to the next level. And you expect your upline to do it all for you. You're not willing to hit publish on the blog that your heart has been telling you to finish for the past 6 months. You're addicted to playing small. You're not willing to give more free value to the world. You're not willing to give all of yourself to the world by booking that photo shoot today instead of filling your time with Facebook distractions. You're not willing to launch that event that's been on your mind. You're not willing to start leading your own team calls and owning it. You're not willing to attend events. You're not willing to ask the questions, be coachable, and then take action. You're not willing to write that Facebook post that your heart has been telling you to write. You're not willing to reach out to that person that's been on your mind. You're not willing to book another class and step back into the flow of sharing. Instead, you're mad that things just seem to not be happening, so you sit in the resistance. You're not willing to step back and create space for you for healing. Instead, you keep yourself busy all the time, so you don't have to face the stuff that comes up, and you're not willing to simply start. And that's a big thing for me right now, is there's a lot of resistance on our team right now. Hence the reason why I think there's only 7 of us on this call right now, to be completely honest. I think there's some big resistance to people not wanting to change, people wanting to be stuck in to remain stuck in what's happening. And I'm going to get some slack for saying that. But guys, like, this business isn't going to build itself for you. So unless you're willing to do the things that make you uncomfortable, unless you're willing to step into that fear and literally do the stuff that makes you uncomfortable every single day, this business is just not for you, really. Yes, it's a business of sharing essential oils, but it's a business of personal growth more than anything. So you know what? I'm that tough love mindset. I've been holding back for a little while. And I really do think that it's about time that we sort of get a little bit tough with you guys. And that's a big thing for me. So I really do think that it's time for us just to put the pedal to the metal and just go gung ho. Set 5 things for the rest of this month that are terrifying. So for you, Kirsten, I see here you don't want to film yourself. So like, hop on Facebook Live and record a video on your favorite oil. Or Trish, like, you start Facebook Live for me is amazing, or Facebook videos, like, incredible way to connect with people. So I just wanted to sort of give you guys that idea in terms of discipline. Like, for instance, this morning I woke up, it was like 7:30, dog woke me up, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna lay in bed for another hour, like, bask in this. The dog would not let me, first of all. I also knew I had a meeting at 10:30 that I needed to get done. So I jumped out of bed, made my bulletproof coffee, took the dog for a walk with my podcast in my ears, and came home and did an hour, like a full hour, which doesn't happen very often, of work. I didn't get up. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. I don't even think, and did work. Went to my meeting, came home, did work this afternoon, and I had a disciplined day. But I didn't want to get up this morning. I did not want to take the dog for a walk. I did not want to do personal development. And I sure as hell did not want to get an hour of work done before my 10:30 meeting. But I got it done, right? And it's one of those things that if you're not disciplined and you don't have this stuff booked and you don't have this stuff, you're not getting the stuff done that needs to get done, your business isn't going to build itself. So a really quick tidbit that I actually have started doing, and I highly, highly recommend it to all of you, is to schedule your day like by the hour, by the half hour almost. So what I've done for the next 2 weeks is I actually have my entire day scheduled. Yes, they're not going to turn out like I want them to turn out. Things change, things come up, whatever. But I have everything in there. Like I literally have my showers, I have the meals I'm eating, I have the workout I'm doing, I have everything. Hey, Kels.
Hey, sorry.
No worries. At least you hopped on.
I'm here 35 minutes late.
All good. Yeah, so that's a big thing for me is I have everything scheduled. So if I have 5 to-dos in my day, all 5 to-dos are scheduled in their half-hour intervals or however long I'm doing, so that I stay disciplined. Because if it's not in there, unfortunately, it's not going to get done. That's just how I work. If it's not scheduled, it's not getting done. So that's just something I really highly recommend. If there's something that's making you uncomfortable, throw it in your planner, throw it in your Google Calendar. And for me, if it's there, it has to get done. Because if it's not crossed off, or if it's not, I don't see it done at the end of the day, it creates anxiety for me. So if it's in my calendar, it must be done. So if there's that one thing that's really stressing you out or you have this fear around, put it in your calendar. Okay. I really wanted to talk about, okay, so we have a couple questions. Let me give, what's the farthest you would drive to teach a class? Are you talking to me? Like me personally? Like to come and teach with you? It depends. If there's somebody on LR,
all or you, I guess.
Where's the class?
My cousin's thinking about it in Sudbury.
Is she on LRP?
She has nothing, but she wants to get, she's kind of flip-flop between starting with a diffuser maybe and 1 or 2 oils or buying a kit. I know that I sent her samples a long time ago and she's like, they worked. I've constantly taken my children to the doctor for ear infections and that stuff worked phenomenal.
So we'll chat about it, but we'll chat about that after. But Kirsten, I love you said this month's LRP order included prepackaged samples, intro pack to give away as an increase my audience on Facebook, which is attracting creepers, by the way, happens. Holiday ornaments and car diffusers to use as hostess thank yous. Awesome. Like really great idea. But this one topic I really, really want to talk about, and it's really funny because this podcast I listened to, I actually kept walking because I was like, I don't want it to end. Like I have to finish it. So I had it in while I was walking the dog this morning, so I wasn't able to take notes. So I came home and I actually popped it on again. That was the podcast that I talked about. It was with Seth Risenmay, who is I think he's either Blue Diamond or Presidential Diamond with doTERRA. And he had some really great tidbits. I'm not sure if you guys have listened to it. It's through the Essential Oil Educator podcast on iTunes. But one thing he really talked about in this podcast was the idea of duplication. And it's funny because I look at, we're mirrors, right? So if you look down at your team and you're like, Frank, this is happening, or there's drama, or there's gossip, or actually it could be positive. Oh my God, they're killing classes. Like, this is awesome. They're enrolling like crazy. They're rank advancing like crazy. That's a positive influence. Like, that's a positive mirror view. That's something you're doing right. You're clearly duplicating properly. But if you look down at your group and they're lazy, there's no classes, no one's enrolling, duplication is a mirror view. So you need to look at yourself. Are you enrolling? Are you teaching classes? Are you mentoring your team? Are you being a positive influence on your team? And so oftentimes with duplication, it's funny because people will start to realize that, holy crap, I'm actually doing all those things that I'm resenting my team for doing. And this happened to me. I will tell you, in the beginning of my business, I heard the dog. Sorry, we have new hardwood floors downstairs, and the dog doesn't realize that there's hardwood floors, and he's like flying through the living room. I just heard a big bang. I'm like, what the hell happened? So one thing that I'm really looking at now is this idea of duplication. So what's interesting is every single thing will duplicate. Good, bad, ugly, lies, deceit, great classes, great enrollments, lots of stuff will duplicate. So do an honest inventory. Like, sit down and think, okay, well, what's happening on my team? Is anything happening on my team, first of all? And that might be a direct reflection of what you're doing or not doing, okay? One thing he said that really struck a chord with me is simplicity accelerates duplication, complexity kills it. So one thing we talk a lot about in our business is this idea of duplication. So realistically, what you want to do is you want to create a system that works for you, and then you want your team, you want to teach your team that, and then you want your team to start teaching their team that. So you want this system to duplicate through the levels. So what you're doing and what you're finding works, you're then duplicating to your team. So this is something that I've even told you guys about. I've duplicated our mentorship programs. I've duplicated our class systems, keeping things simple and easy, right? So simplicity accelerates duplication, complexity kills it. So that's another thing. Are you like super complex with classes? Are you making them difficult? Are you keeping them easy? Is that why your team is duplicating exactly what you're doing? So sort of looking at it in that sense. That's a really big thing for me, is within duplication. Any of you guys have any positive experience with duplication or negative experience with duplication?
I don't have any builders, so I don't have duplication.
But that's great.
I don't have any yet.
You can. The great part is that you can create what you want. It's almost like you can create what you want your dream team to look like, because you have this time now to create systems. You have this time to create the mentor system you want, and the welcome emails you want, and whatever you want. So that when you do bring on builders, it's literally, okay, this, and this, you teach them that, and then they duplicate. So for those of you who don't have builders yet, that's almost a good thing, because now you have this time to create these systems that you then want to duplicate. So it's not like they're coming in while you're, like me, for instance. A lot of you guys, not that those are here, but a lot of people on my team came in at a time when I was like, what the frig am I doing? Like, literally, I had no idea what I was doing. So they've duplicated what I wasn't doing, basically, right? So now I'm working back on things that I've done, right? That I've duplicated in a negative sense. But yeah, like it's not a bad thing.
I also, from our team thing we did last month, that you said you use now is for classes. I was like, I'm doing that because I think I'm making classes too complicated, which then, I have a fear of. So then, like, I have to share like everything that the oils do, which I think, when I think back to when you've done the classes online and just in general, you're not telling them every reason or tons.
Oh.
I think I'm making it harder than it needs to be.
Oh, I just need to stretch. Yeah, that's a big thing for me, is I actually will only share about 3 points. I share about 3 points. I talk about a couple testimonials that I have, and then that's it. Like, I keep things easy, and that's key. So that's a big thing. So another thing that he brought up in this podcast, which I would highly recommend watching, it's awesome, is you want to keep things simple, but you don't want to keep things so simple that they're not impressive to people. So you want to wow people with classes, but in my thinking, the oils wow people. The oils are the ones that wow people. It's not how we present it. It's just a matter of what we share in that class, right? So sharing about the oils in classes, we like that wows people all along, right? So you want to make them so simple that people are like, oh, well, whatever, like that wasn't really anything. You want to wow them, but you don't want to make it so complex that leaders are like, I can't do that, right? That's a big thing. Let's say, so this is another one. So for it to happen, so for duplication to happen, you must teach to somebody until they then are masters in it and can teach their own team. So basically you create what you want to duplicate. So your systems, your classes, whatever, you teach your new leaders until they know what they're doing. And then your leaders then go duplicate that with their team. So like what's cool is now seeing this duplicating like 6, 7, 8 levels deep. That's what's really awesome to me. And that's really cool when that does start to happen.
What is the name of the podcast?
I posted it underneath the video.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Take a picture. Kels reminded me. I totally forgot that I didn't write the name of it. It's the Essential Oil Educator one. It's one of those ones there. One other thing that I'm really, really big on is you want to be the best version of yourselves. So you want that to duplicate. You want the best version of yourself to duplicate, and not the person lacking confidence and the fearful person and that to duplicate, right? This was amazing. People are always looking for a reason to follow you, and they're looking for an excuse not to. People are always looking for a reason to follow you and an excuse not to. Don't give them that excuse. Don't give them that opportunity to say, oh, okay, that's the reason I was looking to unfollow her or whatever. Don't give them that excuse to not follow you. And the big thing too, and we've talked about this a couple times, is alarming people who are on your page when you start selling oils. I think a big thing too is you're going to lose a lot of followers. I think that's just a standard. That happened to me. It happened to a lot of people I know. But the amount of followers that I have now compared to when I started my business is drastic. We're almost at 900, and I never imagined that would happen because I'm losing about 6 to 8 followers a week. But for those 6 to 8, I'm getting 16. Right? So it's you got to look at it that way too. Yes, you're not gonna appease everybody. You might lose followers, but people do want to follow you. Right? They are looking for that person, that beacon of light that can offer them something that no one else can, which is neat. And the real big question, before I go into sort of some stats that I'm going to finish with regards to our team this past month, question that I want you to journal on is, what kind of culture do you want to create? So I used an example of Kels today. Kels has created such a great culture around community. But what kind of culture do you want to create on your team? Because the culture that you create, the culture that you want to create, is what's going to duplicate. So if you're creating a culture around community, which it's actually interesting that Kels and I met each other because we actually met online. But a big thing for me is creating a culture around community. That's something that I wanted. I never had a group of people that I could get together with and have conversations and people who are like-minded with me, right? I was never able to, I never had that. And so when I started with doTERRA, I was actually excited to be able to create a group of people who had similar views on things. Who wouldn't look at me funny if I didn't eat something, or like things like that, that I never had. So I was really excited to create that when I did start with my doTERRA business. And I know that Kels has really, really created a community. But what culture do you want to create on your team? And think of that, right? And you're going to meet people all the time that you're going to be like, that person would fit in so well with my culture. And that's one thing that I think is huge, is creating this culture so that you are attracting these right people into your business. Just seeing a couple comments now. Do any of you guys know what kind of culture you want to create on your team? Any of you like firm in your what you want?
I have my website and my business cards and whatnot as essentially me, and not just because of essential oils, but this is essentially who I am. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I look up to you guys and you've got these great health food and vegan and different recipes, and I'm like, I work at a pizza place, man. I love my pizza. You know?
I love pizza too. I just don't share it.
I post about this too.
Okay, thanks. But that's who I am. I mean, I'm gonna eat my junk food kind of when I want to.
Or the bottle of wine I drink almost nightly.
Okay, I don't really drink. I have the occasional drink, so maybe that offsets my pizza, right? But
wine girl.
But that's essentially who I am, and I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I try not. When I started, I felt like I had to know everything, but I've learned over the last year that I don't know everything, and that I'm still learning about different oils that are good for this, better for that, testing them and just seeing where it goes. And so that's kind of what I went with. That's what I was drawn to, is this is essentially who I am, take it or leave it kind of ideal. And if you want to be with me, great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. It's very true. And it's funny because like I don't schedule posts. I don't schedule anything online. I just sort of post when I feel like it. And if you actually look at my feed in the past few days, I haven't posted anything online. And social media marketers would kill me and look at me like I'm crazy, because you need to keep that following. But it's totally out of alignment for me to post right now. Like I've just been so busy working that I haven't had time really to post, is really why I haven't posted. But that's a big thing, is like for me, if I'm not, I don't even know the word to say, like people look at me all the time and they're like, oh, she's perfect. And I'm like, absolutely not. Sorry, by my language, but as we have kids sitting behind you, I'm sure. But no, I'm not perfect in any sense of the word. And I love a bottle of wine if I feel like drinking a bottle of wine sometimes too. But it's really, Kirsten, that's awesome. But it's really big on, yeah, I don't know where my thought process was going with that.
I think the thing with social media is
my sister's texting me about buying a cat. I just see it at the top of my screen. I'm like, what? Sorry, distracted me there for a second. But I think it's just honestly sharing who we are, regardless of if that's in alignment with what people want to see or not. Because yes, I eat greens and I love kale smoothies and I love green juice and I love dark chocolate, but I also love junk food. Like,
oh yes, amen.
Like I have problems with junk food. Like seriously. Like I just made a batch of gluten-free lemon blueberry muffins and I had a bite and I was like, this is disgusting. I threw them out. I was like, as much as I want to eat that stuff all the time, I really just want a Costco blueberry muffin. Like it's just, and I think it's one of those things that you really just need to share this stuff with people, guys. Like you need to share the good, the bad, the ugly. And like if you look at my posts sometimes I share the days that I really just don't want to get out of bed. And other days I share how much work I got done, because it's just, things change. So
I like that it becomes healthy when you sprinkle flaxseed on it.
The best. I know that's me with hemp seeds. I'm like, the chocolate chip cookie, I'll throw some hemp seeds on it.
It's all good, yeah. Peanut butter is my downfall. I love it. It's not a downfall. But I watched, was it yesterday? It was Ange Peters' thing. And this seems to be coming up all week, is people think they have to be like everybody else, but we forget that social media is pretty much people just showing the perfection in their life and not necessarily all the other pieces.
Yeah.
Kind of forget that. Because these people don't eat that clean all the time. No way. Like, nobody does.
Well, you know what's actually really funny? I love how I'm still recording this. It's just a random topic. Like, we're just randomly talking now. But one thing that really made me laugh is Ange Peters actually did a grocery haul. I'm going to stop recording now.